Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I'm here to talk about the series finale, not really the series finale, the whole third season, the final season of a show I've been talking about recently, leading up to Evil Dead Rise, and that show is Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3, as I said. Now, 2017, I assume, was supposed to be the release of Season 3, and they skipped that whole year. Season 1 was in 2015, 2016 was Season 2, 2017 there was nothing. They waited a whole year to have to make 10 episodes, which was bizarre to me. But 10 whole episodes, the final 10 episodes of the show, out of the whole 30 episode long run, came out in 2018. And Season 3 is a backstep, in my opinion. I'm kind of sad to say that because Season 1 was super weak for me. Season 2 was much an improvement. If you watched my review, you probably know how I felt about that. But Season 3, at this current moment, is below Season 2 for me, even though it has its moments. It has some good things in there, but a lot of it is just... It's a backpedal. It's not as good as Season 2 was, but Season 2 had flaws, but like this has more flaws. This kind of goes back and has the same kind of flaws Season 1 had, but it has better moments. It has a little bit more heart to it. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really love the direction we went with this season. I think it was kind of a mistake, if I'm being honest with you. In some respects it works, in some respects it does not. And to do this review, I have to kind of spoil Season 2 a little bit. Not a whole lot, but just very minor spoilers. Stuff that you probably already knew about, frankly. And there's a little bit of spoiling I'll have to do for the first episode of this season to really kind of explain where we're at right now. So Season 3 of Ash vs. Evil Dead. Of course, Ruby, Lucy Lawless' character, was killed at the end of the previous season, and Ash is now celebrated in his hometown as a hero. Ashy Slashy is now a good guy. We start off this season with a fake commercial of Bruce Campbell opening a store called it's Ashy Slashy, basically. He plays the character on the commercial of himself, Ashy Slashy, Ash Williams. And he opened up like a small mom-and-pop shop tool place that you could buy tools and nails and, you know, the kind of place that Tim Allen and Home Improvement would hang out. That kind of thing. And he also sells porn there, which is really funny. I thought that was a really nice touch because it felt like an Ash Williams type of thing. Now, with this season, in the first episode, I mean, by the way, Ruby is basically back already. Like, it's Lucy Lawless, she comes back. Again, she looks so different. I don't know what it is about Season 2 and Season 3 with this chick, but she just looks different than she did in Season 1. I can't place it, can't figure it out, but something is different about her. Maybe her makeup, I don't know. But she comes back. And, okay, so this is the thing. Season 3 goes about this idea of introducing all of a sudden, now that Ash is a hero in his hometown, he's living in his hometown, by the way, they introduce that Ash happens to have a wife that he forgot about all of this time. Okay, how old was he when Army of Darkness took place? I assume that 1, 2, and 3 took place fairly consistently together. Like within the span of like a couple of months, maybe a few months, maybe 6 months at the maximum. I don't remember what the time frame was of Army of Darkness, how long it took him to get into the medieval times and to leave those times. But how long was he there? And then when he comes home, he goes through all his struggles with that. I assume he got married, then left the town, but he forgot that he had a wife. And even more so, he forgot that he has a kid, a daughter. Yeah, they went that direction with Ash Williams, which is, to be fair, what I thought Evil Dead Rise was going to do, and maybe they still will do. Maybe it's another daughter, I don't know. But I thought for sure that Evil Dead Rise was going to go in that kind of route of some sort. And maybe it still will, I don't know, like I said. But Season 3, immediately when we introduced that in Episode 1, immediately I was like, oh shit, they're gonna ruin it. They're gonna ruin the show even more now. Not that Season 2 was bad, and again, they didn't really ruin it in Season 3. It's not really a horrible season, but a lot of this, immediately, you realize that this season will be focused on Ash bonding with his kid, and trying to be a good dad, but he's a shitty dad, he acknowledges he's been a shitty dad. All of the things that would run through your brain are going to happen in this season. You're going to have the upset, hurt fight, and then the makeup scene, and then you're going to have all of that. All of those things are in this season. That's not a spoiler. That is just the formula that this show followed. I am so not interested in this show now, if I'm being honest with you. Of course, this is the final season. Apparently, they were going to make more. And that's all I really want to tell you about the main plot involving Ash Williams. Of course, Pablo is there. He has some new abilities from the end of Season 2 and kind of the events of Season 2 and Season 1 a little bit. And Kelly is here. She has some cool stuff going on with her. She was actually running a bar, even though Pablo was working directly with Ash with a little taco vendor thing outside of his store, Ashy Slashy store. Kelly was like, I don't know if she was like a bartender or she was like the bodyguard dude working there at this bar. But anyway, she wasn't with these guys, but she ends up getting tied up with them again. And she happens to meet somebody else who is a knight of something. I forgot what the group is called. I cannot keep that straight. But they kind of are people who honor Ash Williams, right? And she just, they don't have a whole lot for her to do. This season, a lot of the time, I mean, she's there, but the character Kelly is not really there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad for the actress. I feel bad for Kelly, the character, who I've grown to like a little bit more. There comes the ambulance. Somebody's hurt. Pablo is, they don't really do anything with Pablo. It's kind of sad in my opinion, because I like him a little bit more too, because Season 2 really took what Season 1 didn't have for those two and tried to do more with them, and I liked that about them. Pablo has more to do than Kelly does in this season, but still not much, if I'm being honest with you. Everything he goes to do is blocked with something else. It's like that a lot in this show for all 3 seasons, but it happens a lot here, as a matter of fact. But anyway, the Ash Williams daughter thing is kind of in the forefront of the show, and I'm not in love with that. I'm being honest with you. I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but the formula from anything from a fucking rom-com to whatever you could possibly look at, a comedy, anything that you could think of that would have that formula in movies or TV, it's done here, almost par for par, with the horror comedy thrown in there. Now again, every single episode stayed at about 30 minutes apiece. I really loved that, especially because I wasn't into this show. Very thankful that it was only like 30 minutes an episode. Especially for this season that took a backpedal, you know? It's not like The Flash and shit like that on CW, where every episode had to be an entire hour long. You had 20-hour-long seasons, you know? And it just dragged and dragged. I'm glad we didn't do that here. With that being said, though, this is not, like, a great season. This is not a good season, in my opinion. And the way it ends, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. But I will be honest with you. I didn't know anything about the show going into it. Everything I watched was brand new to me. I hadn't heard any spoilers. I hadn't heard anything. I didn't know about the daughter thing going into this season either. And then I got to the finale. And the shit they did in the finale, I was with it for the most part. And then at the very end, the last like 5 minutes, I was like, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, I know naturally the story would have went there because of the history of Evil Dead. But I was sitting here thinking, like, what the fuck are these people thinking? Which kind of will affect the video I will be putting up here soon, before Evil Dead Rise comes out, about what I want to see in Evil Dead Rise. I have a lot of thoughts about that, but I will be honest with you, I could not give less of a shit, because I'm not excited to see that, and if that happens to follow up with this show at all, which I doubt it will, it seems like it's kind of staying away, but with the reviews it's getting, I think it probably will connect to this in some way, fashion, or form, whether there be cameos or anything. My whole point is, this season, it didn't suck, but it was super underwhelming. Super underwhelming, in my opinion. I was not expecting this to be as rough as it was. And to me, it goes a little bit too much in the fantasy mystic route, you know? And I know Evil Dead has those fantasy elements. There's nothing wrong with that. I love Army of Darkness quite a bit. I think that those things can benefit the series a lot. They can do well with it if they work on it right. But it feels so much more in this season than ever that Bruce Campbell just didn't want to be there anymore. I don't blame him. I didn't want to watch it anymore. But the poor guy, he's so good in the season. So is the girl who plays Kelly, the guy who plays Pablo. They're all good. Even down to the chick who plays the daughter. There are some shocking moments involving her that I thought were well portrayed. She was a good actress. It's just the writing surrounding everybody in this season dropped quality once again. Now, moving along to the look of the show. It still looks cheap. It looks less cheap than Season 1 and Season 2, in my personal opinion, but it still looks cheap. For TV, for movies, anything, budgetary restraints are a thing. It's been a problem with this entire series, all 3 seasons, but it doesn't ruin it. It's still a watchable show. This season is still a watchable season, but it's just not that great. You're mainly watching it for Ash, for his one-liners, his jokes, his comedy. That's really it. That's really the only thing to compel you to watch this season too, aside from the father-daughter bonding thing. But Ash forgetting that he has a wife and kid is even more shitty. Apparently he just didn't even know he had a daughter, but forgetting he was still married to this chick was even more annoying. Like, it just seems like the whole series, constantly, from Season 1 where they have Ash bring the demons and the Deadites and whatever to life because of just carelessness while he was high, being a pothead and a drunk and all of that. All of that stuff seems like character assassination to me. Yes, he's goofy in Evil Dead 2. Yes, he's even more fun and funny in Army of Darkness because of all the jokes and one-liners and everything else. I understand that. Ash was not like a drunken pothead in those 2 movies. Maybe you could argue that his character would become that in the show, but I think it's just careless and stupid, frankly. Not a fan of that at all. It feels like character assassination. It feels very close to what happened to Luke Skywalker in Last Jedi. But for me, I'm not into this. I thought Season 3 was kind of weak for the most part. It has good moments, but whatever. Now, the cinematography of it, again, doesn't look bad. It looks kind of cheap, just like the budget on the show. Let's talk about the effects, which I've had a problem with through pretty much the entire show. It got better in Season 2. Season 3 kind of mimics that. There's a lot of CGI in here. It feels like they've lessened that even more so than Season 2 did, but not by much, maybe 5% less than Season 2 had. And that's good because of what they did in the finale. There is a lot of CGI in the finale, but it looks good, I think. They really saved up to do something special there. The practical effects in this show, when they are there, once again, they look fantastic when they're there. When you actually have that, they look really great. There's some good comedy writing in here. There's some really good jokes in here. It's watchable. It's fine. But good and actually truly well-made media, or entertainment, or any of that, is not the same thing as fine and watchable. Fine and watchable are really things, they're words that I use to explain when I can just turn my brain off and not really have to focus too hard to watch something. I can be on my phone while I watch something. That when it's just fine and okay and generic and everything else. Yes, the show stands out because it is Ash Williams. Bruce Campbell is back as Ash for these 3 seasons of this show. And I like that, I appreciate that, but I don't love the show. If you're going to bring back a character that so many people love, even people like me who are not massive Evil Dead fans at all, if you're going to bring this guy back, the original actor, have him do something really cool, put him in a good story. Put him in a good story that doesn't feel like you're just kind of just hitting marks on typical writing and linear storytelling. I think there's a problem with that, in my personal opinion, in Hollywood in general, but in this show specifically, in my example. So, the CGI, like I said, a little shoddy, looks better than it usually looks, but, oh well. The practical effects are good when they're there. And then the music. The music, just like Season 2 and Season 1, it kind of varies. Some parts of the season have really good songs attached, some good soundtrack. The regular music is pretty cool. The intro music, if you will, is good. I like all of that stuff. It's fine, you know, just fine. I don't really remember anything being super memorable soundtrack-wise from this particular season, but it was engaging, I guess. It had its moments, but it's nothing that I really obsessed over. You know what I mean? All that being said, though, Evil Dead, not a big fan of the series, as I've told you. I love Evil Dead 1. I really like Army of Darkness. I really love the remake. What might be my favorite, I don't know. I can't really figure out what my favorite of all of this is. But Ash vs. Evil Dead, I'll be honest with you, I'm so glad I'm done, especially after that finale. I'm so done. I never want to watch this again. It has its moments, but it's the kind of moments that I'm thinking of would be on YouTube compilations, or scenes that I could look up, or clips on YouTube that I could look up. Guarantee you, if there's anything I take away and I remember from this show, I can look those things up on YouTube. I never have to sit through 30 hours. Well, it's not 30 hours, but you know what I mean. I don't have to sit through 15 hours of TV to be able to get to those moments because I didn't enjoy this all that much. It's not something I cherish at all, and I could see the fans, the really hardcore fans, like my friend Franchise Horror Reviews, really obsessing over this. But it is not for me. Just like Evil Dead's really not for me. I understand why people love it. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings. I'm not a Lord of the Rings guy at all. I don't like it. It's so boring. But the people who do are really in love with it. Like my childhood best friend's wife. She loves Lord of the Rings. I can talk to her about the quality of the filmmaking and the writing, but I can't get into like, I like this because it's good. No, I don't like it. It's kind of like that with this stuff. Ash vs. Evil Dead is for a very specific fan base, and maybe that's why it was canceled. Because it was canceled. You kind of get an unsatisfying ending to Season 3 because it was canceled. But if you're a very hardcore fan, maybe you'll like this a lot more than I did. I'm sorry if you don't. I hope that you can find some kind of enjoyment in it, or at least some enjoyment in my review of it. But I am not going to be able to defend something like this. I'm not an Ash vs. Evil Dead fan. All three seasons are very consistent. You know, a lot of shows you have Season 1 being the worst. In this case, for example. But they're like the bottom of the barrel worst. And then Season 2 improves, and then the show from that point on is really good. A lot of shows do that. Buffy the Vampire Slayer did that. In my opinion, a lot of X-Files Season 1 was like that. That happens a lot in TV. Especially older TV, like the 90s and the 2000s, when they kind of take a season to figure out what they want to do, what direction they really want to push for. Supernatural is like that for first couple of seasons, you know? A lot of shows do that. I understand that. But when the first season is so generic, and then Season 2 and Season 3 are like just a little bit better, it's not really saying much, in my opinion. But did I really hate anything from this season? Not really. Not really. I feel very underwhelmed. I feel very disappointed. But that's how I felt with Evil Dead 2 every single time I've watched it. So again, I'm not a die-hard fan of this like a lot of people. The things that the fans love about this series are really not for me. They're just things that I don't really give a shit about. And you'd think, being a big gore movie fan, that I would love this more. The whole series. But I just don't. It's all the CGI shit. It ruins it for me. Whereas the remake that had a lot of practical effects, if not nothing but practical effects, it looks excellent every single time. There's a lot of fan service in this show too. If you're a big hardcore Evil Dead fan, just so you know, this season, as well as the previous seasons, have a lot of fan service for all of you. That is something personally that has given a lot of bad press from a lot of big critics out there. I think that's bullshit. I think any kind of movie series like Star Wars, the MCU, anything like that, should have fan service. It should try to bring in new things and new elements, and new actors, new characters. I understand all that. But don't be afraid of fan service just because the fucking critics don't like it. You know, I admire Ash vs. Evil Dead because it did that. I think that's a benefit that a lot of media doesn't go there because they're so afraid of pushing people off. And apparently the newest example, from what I'm hearing from friends of mine at work, is the Super Mario Bros. Movie. They have a lot of like personal fan service stuff in there that a lot of casual fans like myself would miss, and I like that. I appreciate that. I think the fans appreciate that more. I'm a big Silent Hill fan. I saw that in the Silent Hill movie, the first one, and I appreciated that a lot. I love that about that movie. I don't care what the critics say. Who gives a shit? But anyway, when it comes to Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3, I am let down, as I said. I was hoping it'd be even better than Season 2. And that I could be sad that this is gone. But I'm going to be honest with you, I'm at an age now where I hate wasting time on bad movies, bad books, anything like that. And I have to really want to do something or talk about something nowadays to really make a review that I'm even happy with. As in a video for you guys that I'm happy with. And that's why I get so wish-washy over a lot of things I upload with the channel and everything else. I have to be in the right... I have to be confident about what I like. You know what I mean? It's a little weird, but it's true. But anyway, with all that being said, when it comes to Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3, if I had to rate this on a 5-star basis, I think I'd give it like a 3 out of 5. It's not... I just don't give a shit. If I'm being honest with you, I'm not happy with this. I'm glad it's over. I kind of hate the fact that I spent so much time watching all of this, but again, Season 2 wasn't a complete loss, nor was Season 1 or this season. It's just kind of a clip show. So it's going to be a YouTube compilation that I will watch a lot. Maybe an hour long of all 3 seasons, best lines and everything compiled into one, or best kills or something like that. That'll be it. By the way, the Deadites look even worse this season. There's like 1 or 2 that look really good. But other than that, everybody looks like shit in this season, pretty much, especially the casual Deadites that show up here and there of just random, Bob number 2 on the side of the road who got possessed out of nowhere. All of that shit looks bad. All of the makeup for that looks bad, pretty much. Just forgot to mention, and I thought I'd throw that in there too, as the last stab at this show. Anyway, 3 out of 5 stars for me for Ash vs. Evil Dead Season 3. Have you seen it? What do you think about it? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about it down in the comment section down below, especially if you happen to be a big Evil Dead fan, unlike myself. If you happen to be a big Evil Dead fan, let me know everything you love about it. What did you love about this series, this season specifically? Thank you all for watching. Hopefully Evil Dead Rise will be really good. Hopefully I can give you a really positive review for that. I'm not really super excited about it. I've talked about that numerous times. And I will do a video, like I said, that I want to talk about what's coming up in Evil Dead Rise, what I would like to see in Evil Dead Rise, which will be a little bit different from a lot of my friends' videos, because I'm not an Evil Dead guy. So, maybe it's the wrong video for me to make. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what people think about that. But anyway, have you seen the show? What do you think about Ash vs. Evil Dead? Thank you all for watching. God bless you guys, and goodbye.